106 miles to Chicago. We got a full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. It's dark, and we're wearing sunglasses. Hit it.
This is Julie Gibb. You are listening to Dr. Bones and MadAndersons on New Music Saturday.
Welcome back to New Music Saturday, and welcome back to MadAndersons. After about a month and a bit of a break, they're back.
We're so glad to be back.
We are very glad.
This is so much more fun than moving.
Yeah. And tonight our guest is Screwtape. Welcome to the show, guys.
Good evening. How are you? Hello.
Very well. How about yourselves?
Well, we're well. Good.
So we got some Canadians in the house and some Americans. So it's kind of both sides of the border, right?
Right. Got it.
So because you guys are from Windsor, correct?
Yes, we're from Windsor. Yeah.
And I'm from London, so I'm about 2 hours away from you guys.
Yeah, I used to live in London.
Right on. So first off, guys, the name Screwtape. I mean, I'm assuming it's got something to do with like nostalgic reasons, as though at the actual cassette tape, or am I wrong? Or how's it gone about this way?
Yeah, sorry, it's a C.S. Lewis reference. I don't know if you heard of the author C.S. Lewis.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
He did the Chronicles of Narnia.
Oh,
books,
yep.
But he's obviously written other books that aren't for children.
Right.
And he wrote a book called the Screwtape Letters.
Okay.
And that's where the name came from.
Oh.
You know, the band name Silverchair, that's another C.S. Lewis reference as well. So he's kind of popular for band names, I guess.
That I did know about. And speaking of Silverchair, I actually pulled out Frog Stomp the other day, listened to it, and
can you believe it's been 20 years?
I know. And obviously the first song up on that album is Israel's Son, and I was like, wow, man, I've listened so long, but this is so cool. And I remember this first came out because at the time, this is just shortly after Kurt Cobain had committed suicide. They're like, oh, this is the next Nirvana, blah, blah, blah. I mean, they're really cool, but yeah.
Yeah.
So, first question, guys, your songwriting process. I mean, you guys have been listening to a bunch of your stuff, and it's just so different and
well, that's good. That's exactly what we're going for. Something different.
And a really kind of full sound. So I'm just curious as to how the songwriting process goes. Whether one starts writing and putting in the riffs, or the other does that, or you guys combine at the same time, or how's it work?
I think it's a combination of all of that.
I think Mike, for the most part, Mike or Gary, the guy who's not here, the bass player, also the singer and the songwriter, they will have ideas. I'm Joel the drummer, by the way, in case anybody's curious. Yeah. So Mike or Gary will come in with an idea, or sometimes we'll just write at a band practice. So
there's no real one way, really.
Yeah, it varies. Coming here, I have something and we build off that. It's pretty simple, nothing too extravagant.
It's not magical.
It's just hard work, like everything else.
Yeah,
right.
We put in the time and
keep going until you get goosebumps, right?
Yeah.
Now, Joel, this is a question for you, just because there's some bands I've talked to in the past, some drummers who moved up to singing, but have actually kind of created stuff from the beginning. Have you ever kind of laid down like a drum beat and just kind of start singing with it, and all of a sudden you had to meet a song together, or?
I don't think so. I mean, there was maybe one or two things that might have influenced a little bit of, the songwriting in terms of like, it switched gears and went in a different direction. But for the most part, the drums aren't really, I'm really enhancing, I'm not really, changing lives or anything with what I'm doing. I'd like to think I am, but I'm not.
No, Joel it definitely plays the role of the arranger and producer more. He doesn't write lyrics or write music. That's kind of where Gary and I come in. But
right.
If we come in with a song that's sort of in one tempo, he might feel it, and maybe it would work better in a 6/8 or something. And we'll try that, and it completely flips the song on its head. So those kinds of things are really, really valuable.
Nice. Now, Joel, is that your background, or is that just because you've been in business for a while that you're just kind of used to it and kind of know it sounds right?
Yeah, I think after a while, I played in other original bands that I've been playing, in the scene and all the bar scene, corporate scene, all for over 20 years. Right. So I think it's just, and I love music. It's my favorite thing in the world to do. So it's just a matter of being a fan of music, and you're kind of listening to how songs are made, the structure. I guess in a way there's kind of a format. It's
right.
that we don't like to use that word. I guess a lot of people don't like to because you immediately think format, Nickelback, that sort of thing. But really,
verse, chorus, verse, right?
Absolutely, everything does. So you can verse, chorus, verse, bridge, that sort of thing. So after a while of doing the same thing over and over again and playing thousands of songs in your lifetime, cover songs, of course, I'm talking about.
Right.
You really get a feel for it, but it's not for everybody. I love it,
Definitely in pop music, anyway.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
Yeah, pop rock music, which is kind of what we are, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, right on, and it's just a curiosity to me too, just because, like I said, I've talked to a few bands in the past, and obviously we know some of the bigger bands of the drummers who've moved to singing and blah blah become famous. Obviously, Phil Collins and Steven Tyler, and the list goes on.
Dave
Grohl, that's right. Yep. So.
There's I'm not really, I guess, really interested in moving into the lead singer role. I do love singing, and I take great pride in doing the backup harmonies, and I just want to make everything sound better.
Enhancing.
Yeah. I'd rather let Mike and Gary be the strong lead singers, and I just sing along with them, either all three of us together, or me and Mike, or me and Gary, and I'm very happy in that role. I have no desire to take away from somebody else's job or whatever.
Which is rare for a drummer.
Yeah, I guess. I love what I do, and I got my hands full playing the drums and singing, so I'm totally fine with just being the harmony guy, I guess.
No, right on. No, like I said, just a curiosity to me, because it happens sometimes, and like you don't have to necessarily want to take on that role, but the fact that.
Maybe in the future, but I can't really see that. I can't really, as it stands now, I'm very happy with my role. It works.
But at the same time, Joel, is arranging and production is such a huge part of it. So, you already have enough on your plate, so adding that extra might kind of slow you down a little bit.
Sure, I never thought of it that way, but that's true. Yeah.
Right. So, Noah and Catherine?
I'm curious about your format as a three-piece. Have you ever thought about adding a fourth guy, or do you think that would throw a wrench in the works?
I don't know if it would throw a wrench in anything. I suppose in a live setting, we do have some tracks that have some piano and some organ and things like that. So having a fourth guy probably wouldn't be a second guitarist. Maybe it would be sort of piano and synth keys, things that would help the sound. And a 4-part harmony, I guess.
Yeah, it would thicken up the sound, but it's really our influences. We really like the setup of three guys. It leaves a lot of space for. The more people you have in a band, the harder it is to, as a drummer, you got to lay back. And if you're playing with 5, 6, 7 people in a band, you're not really, when you think of Rush and Cream and the Police, there's a lot more freedom for each member to shine a tiny bit more, with only 3 of us. And we're happy just being a 3-piece.
It's a different kind of pressure. It's a different kind of pressure. All of us have been in other bands that have 4 members, 5 members, 6 members. Right. And a 3-piece is a fun and different kind of pressure. Like for me personally, to be the only guitar player in the band is if you're not a virtuoso, which I am not, I don't know, you're kind of approaching your instrument a little bit differently, which is a new and fresh and fun kind of a pressure, and that sort of thing leaves a lot of room for those vocals. You know, those three-part harmonies that we're so in love with.
Yeah, that's what we're bigger into. We'd rather have maybe 3 guys and we all have double duty. You know, bass and vocals, guitar vocals, drums and vocals, as opposed to adding another person. It gives us more room, like Mike said, to focus more on the 3-part harmony.
Right.
Because we take pride in the fact that there's not a lot of rock bands out there that, you know, they might have similar sounds as what we do, but, you know, like your standard 2-part harmony. But the fact that we do a lot of 3-part and stuff, you know, that we're heavily influenced, I guess, by the King's X and bands that were 3-piece,
right.
and also, you know, great rock band, and they also had killer harmonies, you know, and all 3 of them sang, and we love that.
It's a little more visually interesting too live. If there's a track where I'm singing and then you've got to dart across the stage to watch, because the next song Gary's going to sing, or then Joel's going to be doing his thing. So live, it keeps it a little bit more the audience on their toes. And
and it visually looks cool having only 3 people on stage. I don't know, there's not as many 3-piece as 4 or 5, so I don't know. There's
it's a little different.
Yeah.
Right on, guys. Go on, Catherine.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yeah. You're next.
Actually, I was kind of curious about your recording process, and you said you do a lot of production and all that. So where do you record?
We record at a local studios. We have various local studios here in Windsor. Just I mean, a lot of it's going to have to do with cost, right? As a sort of an upcoming indie band, we're not going to have a lot of cash to like go to LA or something like that.
Right.
We save that kind of money for our mastering process, which we'll be sending our upcoming record to LA.
Too.
And the duplication.
We want it to visually look good and sound sonically, you know,
right,
really good.
Right.
So.
Yeah, so we do a lot of all the pre-production, all the arrangement and stuff. We do ourselves in our rehearsal space. Like we don't have a producer or anything. Like Joel was saying, we've all been at it for long enough where we feel pretty confident in what the vision, the feel of the way the song is going to go. And once a song is there and we're all excited about it, we feel like it's ready. So we just need to find the right engineer to sort of capture the good signals, capture the right vibe, and away we go.
Right on. So just one more thing before we move to your song on this compilation is just talking about the 3-piece. I've seen Rush live, and I've also seen the stuff they had in HBO, kind of like behind the music on their tours, that sort of thing.
Awesome.
And you know, the one thing that really got me was because he's huge on stage, but they asked Geddy Lee about it. I said, well, how do you go from like the bass to keyboards? Like, how do you move the mic out of the way? He goes, oh, it's just a big Jewish nose. So I was like, well, yeah, it kind of makes sense because you see him do it on stage and it's so cool, like especially during like Tom Sawyer, right? It's like, oh, well, that makes perfect sense.
that really, there's no specialty. There's no. It's just those guys are just very, very good at what they do.
They're just freaks, man.
Yeah.
You know, when you're at that level, it's hard for a regular person, I guess,
you got a nose like that.
to understand.
Yeah.
It's hard to understand. You know, like how are you doing that? That's just shedding. You know, wood shedding, practicing a lot, and playing a ton of gigs. There's no band that I know that plays more, constantly touring.
For
40 years. I mean, like, you're gonna be stellar on your instrument and what you do because they've been doing it for so long.
Yeah, I saw them for the Counterparts tour.
Big fans. I've seen them live.
Oh wow!
Hey, that was my first time.
It was my first watch kind of with Counterparts, so with "Stick It Out," and my favorite song by them is called "Double Agent," and that's on Counterparts as well. Short and Skinny was in Montreal. Dad got a job in the U.S. Moved to the U.S. Was in high school there, and I wanted to go to the concert, but knew there, didn't know anybody. So a friend introduced me to another friend who happened to be Geddy Lee's niece, and next thing I know, I'm at the concert backstage meeting them.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I have my Counterpart CD signed by all 3, and man, was it ever like the best 2 hours of my life. Let me tell you.
Did you have a chance to ask him about his big nose, or
no?
Since that's what you said, so.
No. Like I only thought about that later, but no, that wasn't a question I was willing to ask him. I didn't want to offend or be rude, right? So
yeah, of course.
So we're gonna get to your guys' song here. This is "Fearless" by Screw Tape. Dig this.